Hey everybody, hi B-Siders, to another episode of the Living on the B-Side podcast, another guest interview. It's all happening here in the B-Sider land at the moment, which is so cool. And yeah, another amazing guest, and we have amazing things to share. And without further ado, we're going to dive straight into it. On today's episode, I have the wonderful Emilie. Hello, Emilie. How are you going?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure.
Ditto.
Now, Emily, you in the wonderful United States, in Utah, more like it, isn't it? Yeah.
That's
And
right.
I've made a few notes because, yeah, my brain sometimes is a little bit mush. I admit that. So I've got to have some pointers to know to say the right thing. But please hop in afterwards and add on anything that you feel would be important for our viewers and listeners to know. So you're a passionate music educator. You're also mum of twin girls and a boy. Wow.
Mhm.
You have a dual degree in elementary music education, which is fantastic, and your emphasis is on early childhood music, which again is fantastic. Reading through your bio, I mean, you have had some really various roles within that area, which obviously has given you a lot of experience and expertise that you are now taking forward into your new project, which is Music Adventure Box. And I would love for you to obviously dive into that a little bit more and explain to everybody what that is. But it sounds really cool, and I think especially at the moment it's something that probably would help so many parents out, with a lot of people obviously not able to do as much with the kids as they want to. And from speaking to you, I just feel like you really have this deep passion and vision for your current project, and I would love for you to just explain a bit more what it is and how that came about. How did you come up with this idea of the Music Adventure Box?
Sure. Okay. So, um, yes, I am very passionate, which will probably come out in this interview.
I'm sure it
Um,
will.
yeah. So one of those roles that Birgit is talking about is I was head of the early childhood music department at the Gifted Music School here in Salt Lake City. And I taught early childhood music classes, came up with curriculum and all of this. And parents would come up to me and ask what they can do to support their children at home in between classes, because they'd go to music class and they'd come home and then they wouldn't do anything until they did their next music class. So they wanted to enhance the experience. And I said, well, I mean, you can sing the songs that we're doing in class, but that's really all I had for them. I also had two little twins, and at the time I was teaching in this position, I was pregnant with my third, and was wanting to find a way to be able to stay home with my children while still being able to teach music and supporting families. And anyway, so I just kind of said, okay, brain, I want to help families. I want to be able to provide an income for my family. I want to help families create a culture of music within their home, and I'm ready for you to get to work. And then my brain just went at it, and I just took a back seat and let my brain work on it for a couple weeks. And it came to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I smacked my poor husband awake, and I said, Matt, we're going to make music subscription boxes, and these will be boxes so that parents who are either musical or not musical will be able to have and create a culture of music within their home with their children. And so that's kind of how the idea came. It's been a journey. I mean, marketing, I come from a teaching background, so I needed to build a website. I needed to figure out social media, which, to be honest, was the hardest part because so much social media can wear and tear on a person's soul. I feel like so finding balance and all of that in the marketing area and everything. As I've built this, kind of the passion and the purpose of it has come to a much deeper level. Um, Music is the great connector for humans, um, and I feel like families are being attacked. They're falling apart, and I feel like if we can create a music culture in the home, then that will just bring families together. It will bring cultures back together. It will make our society stronger. And so, yes, it's a cute music box and it's cute music lessons, but the purpose is for the family unit to become stronger, to give parents tools to create a music culture within their home. So that is why and how it came about. And now we'll talk about what Music Adventure Box is.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's pretty cool too.
it started out as just a subscription box. We had we've taken folk songs and we've turned them into little lap games that you can hold your child in your lap and you sing this folk song together, and it's a little game you can play together. We always have a composer of the month and a movement activity that goes with that, a composition by that composer. And they're very simple and but so fun for these children and very engaging. The whole family can play. We always have a book that's musical or rhythmical in some way so that parents can sit again with their child, connect, and read or sing a story together. And then we have crafts or instruments or little stuffed animals or toys that enhance the theme of that specific box. So that's what comes inside the box. And then we have digital music classes on top of that. And then digital music classes are Kodály based, which is a Hungarian composer. Kodály is a Hungarian composer. And his thing was using children's songs to help them learn how to read music from a music staff with their own voices. And so that's the theory and the method that we base our music classes on. And it comes with sign language classes, live music classes, pre-recorded classes, lots of stuff inside. And each box comes with recordings, videos, so that parents are not stuck. They don't get this box and think, I don't know what to do. They're led every step of the way so they can have really, really successful music experiences with their families. So that's the what.
I mean, that sounds like something probably 95% of parents could really do with at the moment. Like, with homeschooling, and then you got kids inside the house, probably more than you usually do.
Yeah.
So, have you seen any kind of change or increase in your subscription at the moment because of all that, or is that different in the States because maybe you're not as much in lockdown as we are here in Australia, for example? Is there a bit of a difference?
Um, we are growing. We just barely launched our first marketing campaign. So we are growing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if it's from the pandemic or if it's from the marketing campaign. I imagine as the US starts to get into more of a lockdown, which I think is coming soon, um, parents will need some more support. And the beautiful thing is we've created this so that people with any budget can, I mean, to just get the online music classes is only $25 a month. So your entire family, however many children you have, you're paying that same fee for all of those music classes for preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. And anyway, and then the next level is with the box, and then we have the support with live classes on top of that. So we've made it so people inside the US or outside the US, we have lots of students actually. We have students in Australia and in Canada and in Singapore that all use our digital product. So their kids are getting music classes even though they can't attend in person. So it's been really great to meet all these amazing families.
Oh wow. Yeah, and as you said, it's especially at the moment, it's so important to form connections and have that social thing happening within the family, but also, with each other. So who knows? You could even have a Zoom party if two families have the digital thing and just sing along in a group. I don't know if that would work, but
Well, it's really fun because for our live classes, they're held on Zoom, but you can see the other kids in the class playing along and doing the activities. And so these
Right.
kids feel like they're in a class with lots of little kids doing all these fun music activities, and it's really good for everybody.
Oh, so have you got sort of what kind of kind of age group I'll be looking at? Can you have that like from toddler to, I don't know, any age? I mean, obviously the parents are involved, so yes, there is, but I'm just talking specifically about the kids.
Well, we created it for 2 to 7-year-olds, um,
Right.
but we have 18-month olds that are in the program that are totally engaged and loving it. We have 10-year-olds in the program that are totally engaged and loving it.
Oh,
So
sweet.
it's targeted for 2 to 7-year-olds, but I mean, people on either end of the spectrum are still
Can
really
join in.
engaged. Hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
never know, you might have an older sibling who just wants to have a bit of fun with the younger ones and might be
right.
12, 13. You
Right.
don't
And that's
know.
exactly what we want to have happening. We want those older siblings to step in and be
Hmm.
part of the learning process for their younger siblings. And it's just magical, the connection that can happen
Yeah,
when all of that takes place.
yeah. And I mean, I know I say that a lot, and people who are listening and viewing this, they probably know me by now, but I don't have any like formal training or anything like that in music. I'm just a passionate music lover who always felt like there is something deeper to music than people probably realize. And just listening to what you were saying and some other guests are saying, I can just see and feel that it's there. There is something really magical and powerful about it. And what you just said, like it can bring people together, and you creating this product is just such a great way of giving probably people a starting point, even if they have no idea about music as such or any formal training. So yeah, I think that's what we need. I think there's a great need for things like that. They're a little bit outside the box as well.
Mhm.
Not so much, the traditional kind of way of helping people heal.
Yes. Yes. And to
So,
help cultures heal. And that's
yes.
one of the reasons we use folk songs in our program is because I feel like so many of the folk songs that past generations sang to their children have been lost because of YouTube or whatever. Parents just turn on YouTube and we've lost the culture of parents singing to children in so many cultures. And so to take these folk songs and reteach parents how to engage musically with their children using folk songs from their own culture is so powerful and unifying for that culture.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever, and that's just something that sort of came in while you were saying that about culture, and that seems to be something that pops up a lot lately too in the conversations that I have. People are trying to get back to their roots, back to their culture. And would you ever consider in the future, if things take off, obviously, and going really well, that you might have different cultural folk songs? Like, because there's so many beautiful cultures around the world that
I'm getting goosebumps. Yes. Yeah.
that they're so worth sharing, and that then to me feels like it's going also into educating people about different cultures and bringing us together,
Mhm.
accepting one another.
Absolutely. And I do have folk songs from China and England and Canada, um, and more. I know that a friend France. We have lots of different folk songs that are in because America's a melting pot, right? So our folk songs often are this conglomeration of other countries' folk songs that have sometimes been turned into something a little jazzy or something a little bit different. And so, yes, we do use folk songs from other countries, and certainly our composers are from all over the world. We've only had a couple of American composers that we've highlighted. Um, Most are from other countries. So yes, that's a big piece. I think educating children on folk songs from around the world and classical music and composers from around the world is so important.
Yeah, true. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Now, I remember you when we had our sort of pre-interview chat. I remember one part, and that kind of stuck with me when you were talking about the impact music has on children with maybe more in-depth needs or special needs. Could you
Mm,
sort of just share a few experiences how music has impacted not just them but the whole families, just to highlight that there might be a way to connect with your child even if there might be a little bit of a struggle in some shape or
sure.
form?
Oh, this is a benefit that I knew was there, but I didn't recognize the extent that Music Adventure Box would help these families before I started hearing back from them. So we have several families whose children have Down syndrome, and one family in particular, there are 7 children in their home.
Wow, 7.
Seven, it's very busy, and
Mm.
one of their children has Down syndrome, and he is wonderful, and he has been a light to their family, but he's also a challenge. And it's been difficult for that mother to connect with him. And so she reached out to me and she said, Emilie, I don't know if you realize, but there are only 2 things I can do with my son that do not involve screens where we can actually connect. And your box is one of those 2 things that I can actually do with my son. And she said, it's something I can pull out and I know it's going to be a positive experience. So that was really, really touching. We also have a family who they have twin boys with autism. Both boys have autism. Um, and their mom is not musical, but they've been getting Music Adventure Box for, I think it's been a year and a half now. And anyway, there was one night where one of the boys was really having a challenging time going to bed. He was very frustrated, very overwhelmed. His mom was feeling the same way, and she was like, okay, well, what if we sing a song together? And he said, yeah, we could do that. But she couldn't think of anything. She couldn't think of anything to sing. And so her son suggested some folk songs from Music Adventure Box. And then she could sing these songs and they could connect and calm down together because of the songs in Music Adventure Box. And nighttime just went a lot easier and more fulfilling for both of them. So yeah, we get a lot of feedback from families who have children with special needs. It's an amazing an amazing thing to be part of. I didn't anticipate it, but it's been really, really fulfilling.
Oh, I had goosebumps again when you just shared that. That's just amazing that, yeah, it's, I can only say the power of music. That's just all I can say. It's mind
Mhm.
blowing. Yeah.
And also I think something that's really important is the support of the moms or the parents, the caregivers.
Yeah.
Um, of course, these classes are for the kids,
Yeah.
but kind of in a sneaky way, I'm really trying to help the parents. I'm trying to give the parents tools to help in their parenting so they feel like they can show up in their best self. They can,
Mhm.
we have one of the pieces of Music Adventure Box is transition songs. So, songs that you can use when your child needs to use the bathroom but they are stubborn and not wanting to use the bathroom, you can use these little songs that can help. Trying new foods, cleaning up their bedroom, getting dressed, those transitions that tend to bring out tantrums in children. If you can use a song as the transition piece between one activity to the next, it can often settle down the tantrum before it even starts, and children are more willing to engage. And so we have a whole piece of Music Adventure Box where we're helping parents with these transition songs and giving them tools to help their children with all these difficult, high emotional pieces.
Wow. I bet a lot of parents will love to hear that. That's available to them as a support in, helping their children and themselves, obviously.
Right. It's not easy. It is not easy to be a parent and any
I bet it's
support.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am only a cat mama. So
Well,
hats off to all the mums and dads out there who have one or more kids. It obviously is not an easy thing. So if people like you are out there who can just help make it a little bit easier and smoother, then that's a great thing. So thank you.
well, you have a very musical cat, so I'm hearing you
Yes.
sing in the background.
Yes, I
Someday.
mean, just to sort of explain a little bit why, when we sort of were having our chat before the recording, my senior cat, who's just walking in the door now, he just had a bit of a singing lesson, singing moment. So yeah. Now a bit more about yourself, obviously. How did you become what you are now? Like, how did you step into this music educator role? Were you always a lover of music when you grow up? Was there sort of a defining moment for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do? Do you remember that?
So my mom is an untrained musician, but she used music all the time with her 8 children. So there I have 7 brothers and 1 sister. Well, I
Wow.
mean, I have 6 brothers and 1 sister, so there's 8 total. We sang in the car all the time. We sang. I one of the things she'd do that was brilliant when a sibling and when 2 siblings would fight, then she'd have us lay down and hold hands and look at each other and sing why we were mad. And it doesn't last very long. If you're singing a stupid song about what they did that made you upset, then you end up laughing. And so my mom was just this brilliant woman who used music as a parenting tool and used it in fun, silly ways. And she used folk songs and camp songs. And it really brought us together as a family. So um, I've got all of us sang in choirs at university. I have several brothers in the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. So I've got 3 brothers in that choir. It's just, even though she was untrained, she used music as a tool to bring our family really close. And even still, we'll come together and we'll sing together, and that helps us grow together as a family. So growing up, music was always a really important thing. And then I just always got excited about it. So I had my best friends all growing up have kind of ended up being pianists. And I
Okay.
always loved when they played for me. Like they would show their new piece that they were working on, and I would get so excited. My heart just was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Um, and I played piano when I was younger, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside. I studied voice at university, but anyway, yeah, it's just kind of my soul has always connected with music, and I think a big part of that is because of how my mom trained us and the importance we had on music in our home.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, actually, especially that you have to lie down, hold hands, and sing a song. I can
The
just
best.
imagine that, I mean, I've got no siblings, but I've got a cousin which I'm very close to, and I could just imagine if we would have to do that, we would just giggle all the
Right.
time. We couldn't
Exactly.
stop. So that's a really cool thing. Yeah, so is there any, obviously you said piano speaks to you a lot, so do you have like a special genre or a special artist that you sort of turn to a bit? Like, is there something that throughout your life that you turn to? Like,
Um, Turn to throughout my life. Let's see.
or if you like, some people, if they have a negative or a sad phase in their life, they have a certain artist they go to, or if they're happy to have someone. So, is there anything that comes to mind
Um,
that you feel like you're drawn to?
well, now that you've asked that question in that way, I do have. So I
Excellent.
did a study abroad in London, and it was a choral study. So we went around and we watched all these British choirs, and we observed how um, the boys' choirs were being trained. We went to their choir schools and watched the teachers and all of this. Um, and we went and listened to the 16 in a cathedral, which is you'll have to take a look at their music. If you have not heard them before, it's okay. It's okay. It's music from the 16th century, and it is just, it's the cathedral music, right? Where it's just the high, beautiful soprano with very little to no vibrato. Um, anyway, I just remember sitting in one of the cathedrals listening to this concert and just sobbing, tears just streaming down my face. I didn't know what they were singing about, but I could not escape this totally all-encompassing experience of the music in that space. And so when I am going through a difficult time, that's what I turn to, is I listen to the 16. And it's
Yeah.
this British choir that's just, oh, they are so beautiful. They are so good.
Yes. I mean, choirs in general are beautiful, but put them in a cathedral,
Ugh,
I think it just
next
amplifies
level. Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah. I can totally understand that, even without having heard the actual thing. But yeah, totally. It's very heart piercing, I think.
Yeah. Maybe I'll send you one of my favorite pieces when we're done.
Please do. Please do. I'd love to listen to it. Absolutely. And I might even share it then with, the listeners and viewers so they can get a taste for it too.
My favorite way to listen is with the lights totally off in my bedroom, laying down with my eyes closed and imagining that I'm there in the space with really good earphones. And that's my favorite way, because then your other senses aren't being bombarded. It's just listening.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that's a very good point you've actually made. Yeah, I think just having and taking that time out to just listen and try to remove yourself from any other distraction of life, I think that can be really beneficial. It can really kind of center you and, help you maybe cope, feel happier, just go through the motions. So that's a really, really good point.
Mm.
Well, I usually ask towards the end of a chat, any guest I have on to share their one song or genre of music that would describe their business or their life best. So I don't know if you, I know you had to think about it, but
Good.
is
So
that,
it's not necessarily one song. Folk songs are really, really a core piece of what I believe is important for cultures and family. And so folk songs from your nationality, I mean, yours or anyone's who's listening, right? I think it's really important. And getting back to our roots and learning about our history through those songs, learning about work songs and sea shanties and all of this is really, really a big part of Music Adventure Box.
mm. And obviously from how you talk about it, it means a lot to you as well.
Yeah.
Just from everything we kind of spoke about in the last sort of half an hour or so.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always find that so beautiful when it really comes together for someone, their passion really connects with what they do. And they can share that with the world and create change and an impact. And that's how I just felt through the whole interview, that this red line with you is this passion for music and helping others and trying to make a small change. So that's really beautiful. I really love when someone has that, just that click and it works for them. So, oh, wonderful. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to work in this space with these
Yeah.
incredible families. So
Yeah.
it's really just amazing.
Yeah. And anyone who is now very keen to find out more, I'm going to put all of Emilie's details for the Music Adventure Box in this episode's description. So you can connect with Emilie if you have any questions, or sign up for her music box. If you're outside of the States, check out the digital one. And I hope we can give a few more families ideas and time to connect and build stronger relationships with each other. So that would be wonderful if we could achieve that. Yes, well, that kind of wraps up this wonderful chat with you, Emilie. Thanks so much for coming on again and sharing everything you have shared. I always get goose. I can't even talk anymore now. There you go. That's it. I'm done. Yeah, so thanks so much for being here, and yeah, please keep me updated on how your passion project, I call it in a way, goes. And yeah, wishing you all the best for
Thank
your
you so
venture.
much. Thank you.
All right, well, BSiders, thanks for tuning in, for listening and watching. Please let me know what you thought about this episode. I'm always open to feedback, and if you have any feedback for Emilie, please do the same. And I shall see or talk to you, or you will hear me in the next episode of the Living on a B-Side podcast. And as I always say, keep on dancing and keep on rocking. Until next time, take care, everyone. Bye.